I hope you're listening to me. And don't let my wizened countenance fool you. I know a little bit about this. See, I'm quite the reader. Let's talk about weed, marijuana, Mary Jane, pito. Got it? Cannabis, THC, all of that stuff. Attention stoners, Gen Z wokies. That stuff you're smoking, that ain't weed. I don't know what it is, but it ain't weed. Now, everything I'm about to tell you is based upon my reading. No personal expertise whatsoever. Just a lot of reading and being born during a time when real marijuana existed that had flavors and contexts and strains. You know, Oaxacan Red and Sinsemilla and Wowie Maui and Panama Red and Mayaca strains and Mud Pot and stuff that smelled, from what I've read, almost like manure. It was packed. It was different. There was creeper weed, creeper bud. From what I've read, you could inhale it, think you got a bum stash or whatever, and then later on, you're hit. There was a Christmas tree smell, Western California. It looked like from the pictures that I've seen in magazines and the like, it looked like a Christmas tree bud. It smelled good, like evergreen. It was actually good. When you'd go to a concert, the smell actually punctuated the music. You knew you were at a concert by virtue of the smell. It kind of smelled good. It smelled good. It was kind of sweet. It kind of smelled good. And there were different types and different strains, and here's the most interesting part of it. In the 80s, it was reported that the amount of THC at the time, the tetrahydrocannabinol, the amount of potency, the active agent, was maybe up to 4%. Today, actual weed, marijuana grown, stuff that people grow in the back and on the farms, might be 15%. But with marijuana extracts and dabbing and edibles, THC can hit 50%, and in some cases up to 90%. And the stuff that you're smoking, this awful, horrible, one flavor, one smell, one size fits all, this rank, skunk, sewer, road custard funk, that one smell that permeates every corner of New York City, everywhere you go. One smell, one type, no variations, no, Western, Mexican, that's South, that's Southern, no, nothing. No, how do I say this? No sense of fraternity. No, don't bogart that joint. It wasn't Holy Modal Rounders, or was that Electric Prunes, or whoever that was, but this notion of conviviality, here, share it. That's the difference between cocaine and marijuana. Cocaine is me, it's mine, get away. Grotesque. Horrible. Even more reading on that one. A lot to be read. Talk to people. Look at that. Look at that nasty drug. Look at that thing. Boogers and, grinding it. Whoa. This is fun? You think that's fun? We'll talk about that some other time. But now with all these weed shops and oils and barbecue potato chip lacing this, they want to goon you out of your mind. You see, marijuana and drugs, let me give a little insight here. And this is just common sense. This is no expertise here. This is not from my extensive reading. This just makes common sense. Drugs are like hot sauce. See, I like hot sauce. I've got a pretty good tolerance for it. I really like some good stuff. But there comes a point when sometimes the sauce is so hot, or the additive is so hot, that it just destroys everything. You can't make out anything. You can't make out the flavor. It just overwhelms you. That's the notion of marijuana, of cannabis. This notion, this CBD stuff is ridiculous. Just look at this. It came out overnight. CBD. Now, let me explain something, a couple of things. Let me verify that you understand some stuff. First and foremost, I believe that this should remain legal. As horrible as it is, as terrible as it is, as stupid as it is, as destructive as it is, I do not believe we should ever go through a period where people are involved in, are involved in this horrible, these laws that put people in prison. It's stupid. This isn't the way to do it. I want to talk to you. I want to appeal to your senses. I want to educate you. I don't want to incarcerate you. Once you know things, you'll find out the truth. And like anything else, when something comes on board and it's new and it seems kind of cool, and you've got kind of like head shops with, pipes and this and that awful smell, and plus getting waxed, getting piteado, as they would say, arrebatado, which is West Tampa slang for being waxed, gooned, gone. It's hard to explain to people that you should really take it easy. But what you're smoking isn't weed. I don't know what it is. And when you're doing 90% sometimes, or maybe that may be the rarity, but especially these idiots who are taking it, to eating the edibles. We had a friend whose wife decided somehow they're edibles, because after all, it's got to be safe, because if the government allows it, it's got to be safe. We're not going to make any vaccine references here. I know what you're thinking. So she was tripping like you can't believe, because of the absorption factor through the stomach into the bloodstream. See, this is what happened years ago. Marijuana itself, the real active stuff, the stuff you roll, the stuff that you smoke, real stuff, not this skunk rot stuff, but real pito, real weed of the old days, from what I've read. There had two elements to this. One, there was an antiemetic. It stopped vomiting, stopped nausea. In fact, now we have hyperemesis. Do yourself a favor. Do what I'm doing right now. Look up hyperemesis and look up marijuana. Cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome is a condition that leads to repeated and severe bouts of vomiting. And now this is the irony, because in the old days, when people couldn't keep food or anything down, marijuana would relax that, would act not as a purgative, it's the opposite of that, but it was an antiemetic. An emesis is vomiting. This is antiemetic. Today, this is the opposite. Now, that doesn't tell you right off the bat. It's like when the number one, or one of the side effects of SSRIs, in some cases, and antidepressants, is murder-suicide. Kind of ironic. That's like a side effect of a weight loss pill would be weight gain. Doesn't make any sense. But what you have here is something which is very, very serious. Very, very serious. Is something that people do not want to address. Now, the other aspect that it would do, which was important, is that there would be this thing in the old days people would refer to as the munchies. That, and I don't know if skunk weed has that effect, but it was renowned, it was known that people got the munchies. People would maybe their tastes would open up or something. So people who were withering away, people who had wasting diseases and the like, benefited tremendously from having real, honest-to-God, real weed, real marijuana, not whatever this stuff is. When they tried to give it to older people, when older people who wanted to avail themselves of this before we in the old days, people would say, no, you can't smoke it. We don't want you to smoke it. Yes, but we can control the dosage. No, we'll give you Marinol tablets. Marinol. And it would hit them like edibles do now. And they would freak out. They wouldn't go near it again. Doesn't make any sense. Now, look, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue against the notion of people medicating, getting high, getting drunk, getting... I'm not even going to get near that. That's not what this is about. That's not what this is about. But a couple of things are going to happen. Number one, the people who are absolute, especially young people, in that part of their mental development where they hit this stuff hard, look at the number of schizoid outbreaks, schizoid events. Now, let me explain something to you. There are very few things more sad than seeing someone who goes through this schizophrenic episode. Happens normally like this: kids in 17, maybe early 20s, at college, about to embark on a new life. Parents get a call from the roommate in college, maybe the campus police. Your son's on the roof, daughter's hanging outside, threatening to kill herself. It's horrible. And once that happens, you don't come back from that. It's not one of these, oops, that was a weird allergic reaction. It's horrible and it's terrible. So anything that exacerbates or accelerates that should be avoided at all costs. This is not kidding around stuff. Now, I'm not going to get conspiratorial on you, because I know you don't care about that. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was some force, some organization, some group of people, or some person who wants to destroy the very fabric of our country at every conceivable level there is. And there's nothing better than to completely destroy the brains, the personalities, the utility, the usefulness, the sentience of individuals by getting them whacked, gooned, and gassed out of their minds on something that is so inconceivably powerful, it has no historical precedent. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. That's all. You're smart. You'll know what to do. If you like this video, like it. If you don't like this video, like it. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification so that you're made aware of new videos and the like. And whatever you do, I ask you below to comment as you see fit.